Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes to share with you 7 products that I've sold in my Amazon store for over $75. Now, before we get into this video, I do want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is SellerAmp. SellerAmp is a tool that I've been using in my Amazon business for many years. It helps me scout new products, it helps me analyze deals, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it helps me to make sure that the products I'm actually buying are going to sell and sell for a really good profit. So definitely check out SellerAmp, and thanks for sponsoring this video. So one of the big mistakes I notice from new Amazon sellers, and I made the same exact mistake when I was new, is I would literally buy any product as long as it made a couple dollars profit. And while this can be good in the beginning to learn the ropes and learn about analyzing deals and listing and shipping and just ultimately taking action and getting some results, long term, you want to focus on finding products that sell for $40, $50, $60, $70, because when you're flipping products that sell for a higher price, you have a lot more wiggle room if prices tank. You have a lot more wiggle room if things go wrong and you have to reduce the price, or maybe you have multiple quantities and a bunch of people start coming in on the listing and then you're not winning the buy box. You could lower the price. So in this video, let's break down these 7 products, and I'm going to analyze each one of these products as well. And the goal of this video, my hopes, is that everybody can kind of learn and see how I'm analyzing deals, the types of products that I'm going after. So when you're out there in the field at a thrift store, or you're doing eBay to Amazon flips or online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, you could recognize these deals, but also get an understanding of why I'm buying these products. So without further ado, let's dive into my computer screen and let's break down these 7 products. All right, everybody. So welcome back to the video. And the first product I'm going to share with you is a product that I love to sell. If you're selling on Amazon and you're not selling this product, in my opinion, it's a big mistake, because Lego sells really fast. It sells for great profits. You can sell it as used, collectible. I typically sell all my Lego as new just because I don't want to have to count all the pieces. And here's an example of a Lego item that I purchased for $35, and I actually purchased this at my local mall. So I'm over here in Connecticut. We have a mall called Buckland Hills Mall, and they have a Lego shop there. It's like a third-party reseller. You could actually bring your Legos there. You could sell it to them. It's not a pawn shop, but it's like a reseller store for just all Lego items. And they sell new products, but they also sell like products that people sell to them, new in box, refurbished. I don't know if refurbished is the right word, but like they'll count all the pieces and make sure it's there. But this one was a brand new set that I actually picked up for $35. Surprisingly, usually their prices are a lot higher. And I actually sold this one for $89. And if you take a look here on the left-hand side under SellerAmp, you can actually see the item. You can see there's 215 reviews. You can get the ASIN, the UPC. And a little tip, if you're doing eBay to Amazon flipping, just copy the UPC, go over to ebay.com and paste it in. And sometimes you can find that Lego set at a deal where you can make 35, 45, 50, 60, 70% ROI. So just a little tip for you right there. Or you could even hit the search eBay button right here on SellerAmp. And if you click that, it'll bring you in to eBay and do a reverse search. More often than not, sometimes like what eBay sellers will do is they'll put like the wrong UPC. Like even though this is part of the box, this is just a little piece part of it. Oh, here's a brand new set right here. Look at this, $24.99 plus $7 shipping. So you could go in and put a bid on this and try to snipe this out. So again, another tip for you to be able to find deals from eBay to Amazon 100% for free without software. All right, so let's scroll down and let's check out this item right here. So you can see right now the BSR, the bestseller rank is 54,000, which is fantastic. When you're in the toy category, anything under 100,000 typically sells really well. There's 77 sales per month on this listing, but take a look right here in SellerAmp. And this is one of the reasons I love SellerAmp, because if you're selling a product that has variations, essentially what a variation is there's just different like models. So right here for this Lego Dimensions, there's the Team Fun Pack. There's all different types of ones right here. The ET, the Ghostbusters, Lord of the Rings. The one that I have right here is the ET Fun Pack. And if you look right here and hover over this, it says SellerAmp estimates his product sells 77 units per month, but that's not for this specific item. That's across all variations. So one thing that I always like to do is I like to go into Keepa, click variations, and then I can see which ones are most popular based on the amount of ratings. So I can see 5% of the ratings are going to the ET Fun Pack, 10% is going to the Ghostbusters, 5% is going to this one right here, The Ninjago, we got 7.43%. So you can typically correlate the percentage of reviews to how many times it's selling. So I would say 77 times per month it's selling, and 5% of those sales are probably coming out of that 77 right there. So it's not like a super fast seller for this particular variation, but I knew at the deal that I grabbed this for at $35. It was brand new sealed. It was in immaculate condition. I knew at the time that I had purchased this that, like the season was coming. Q4 was coming. I just knew like this thing was definitely going to sell. I sold it well before Q4, but still $31 profit, 91% ROI. And again, this is another reason I love to analyze deals with SellerAmp, because I can put in my buy cost, my selling price. It'll tell me what my break even price is after fees and expenses. But look at this right here, 91% ROI. Definitely a great flip. And it looks like, a couple FBM sellers came in pretty low right now. But yeah, look, $89 is the lowest price right now. And then it jumps up. If I waited, I probably could have gotten even more for this, because if you open up Keepa and you take a look over the last, you can take a look at the history. If you open this up and you take a look, there's actually times, 90. Yeah, it looks like 90. Let's see what it was doing. What did it do last year in Q4? Let's open that up right here. Looks like some new offers went up to about $100 it spiked up to. So I wouldn't be surprised if this went over $100 this Q4. But hey, I paid 35, flipped it for 89. Bada bing, bada boom. The profits are coming soon. All right, so let's take a look at the second product that I've sold. And I actually sold this for, and I put all my prices in beforehand. I sold this one for $81.99. So it looks like the price has gone up quite a bit. Amazon is on this listing. And again, if you're using SellerAmp and you're analyzing deals, and SellerAmp does have a mobile app as well. So if you're finding these things out in the field, retail arbitrage, thrift stores, you could scan it with the mobile app and you could take a look to see if Amazon's on the listing and much more, which I'll break down. But I paid $36.99. This was an eBay to Amazon flip. So I used a tool called Replen Catcher, and that's where I pretty much upload all of my replens to the software Replen Catcher, and then it monitors eBay 24/7. So if you have a list of replens or items that you've sold before, like for example, you could go into your Amazon sales, make a huge CSV file of all the ASINs of items that you've sold, upload it to Replen Catcher, and it'll monitor 24/7 and pretty much notify you when that item's available at a price that meets your ROI and profit credentials. So for me, like I typically want items that make at least a $10 profit and at least a 40% ROI. And if it's a little less than that, you could always make a best offer on eBay, which is great. But paid $36.99, sold for $81.99. This made 58% ROI and $21 profit. And again, you can see right here that they estimate, SellerAmp estimates his product sells 134 units per month across all variations. So again, if you wanted to go in, look at the variations and, match up the review count, so on and so forth, and then correlate that to how many times it's selling, that can help you to get a better idea of, how long it's going to take to sell. Now, if you scroll down over here on SellerAmp, you can see a Keepa chart. You can also see a buy box analysis of the various sellers that are winning the buy box. And this is a great little chart here because you can see that over the last 90 days, and I could open this up to 180 days, you can see who's winning the buy box. So Amazon's winning the buy box about 29% of the time. But I always want to look for when I'm analyzing and I'm using SellerAmp, if Amazon's on the listing, is it a nice Amazon or is it a mean Amazon? What I mean is, nice Amazon shares the buy box. Mean Amazon will tank the price and pretty much destroy all their competitors. And right here, you can see that Amazon is playing nice, and you can see what other sellers have been winning the buy box for, which is fantastic. And there's just a lot of information here. If you are not able to sell Canon, search my YouTube channel, How to Get Ungated for Canon. I talk about that, and also Epson as well. There's a website that I use to be able to get ungated for products like Canon. Ink is a great seller. I love flipping ink. I've been selling ink for many years. Before Amazon, I was selling it on eBay. Now on Amazon, I sell it because I typically get a pretty nice premium. Just make sure it's not expired. But this was a really good flip. And again, definitely a nice high ticket flip that you should be on the lookout for as well. All right, so let's get into the third item that I've sold for over $75. Now, this is right on the border. I sold this for $75.99. It did take a while to sell, surprisingly. I don't sell a ton of used items anymore outside of books. I do sell a few used DVDs. And of course, if if I find an item on Facebook Marketplace that's a good deal, like this one, this was a Facebook Marketplace pickup, or at a thrift store and it's used and it's nostalgic, like Super Smash Bros. Like, of course, I'm going to pick it up. For some reason, this took a while to sell. It was a couple months. I thought it was going to sell instantly. Maybe I priced it too high. This does seem like, if you look here inside of SellerAmp, or if you take a look, better yet, in Keepa, you can see the buy box statistics. Like, it really, like, there's a good history of it selling around $69.99 on this product. 73, 79. You can see some people priced it like at 110, but this, I actually sold this for $75.99. It was just a cartridge. Now, some people might think, hey, Steve, can I sell an N64 game? Or maybe you find a Super Nintendo, or you find a game that doesn't have the case. Can you sell it on Amazon without the manual, without the case? Yes, you can, but you definitely want to be careful. Of course, it's got to be used if you're going to sell anything without, like, the manual, so on and so forth. But you really want to give a good detailed description of the item. Let them know, hey, especially on a collectible item, this item does not include the box. It does not include the original case. It doesn't include the manual, because a lot of people who are buying items like this, a nostalgic Super Smash Bros. Game, like, they might think it's all in there, right? Surprisingly. If it was all in there, I'd be selling it for a lot more. But I picked this up on Facebook Marketplace. It was a nice little pickup, $30. Sold it for $75.99. And again, SellerAmp will break this down. I made $25 profit, 84% ROI. Now, if I ask you guys right now, why pick up this game? It should be obvious. It's nostalgic, it's collectible, it's old, it's more rare. It's like, this game is how many years old? I don't know, like 20 plus years old, probably more than that now. It's crazy how old I am now. I'm really dating myself here, but definitely a cool little flip. All right, so let's get into flip number 4. And for me, this is nostalgic as well. I don't know why. Like, this brings me back to, middle school and high school. Now, this is a special calculator right here. More often than not, when you're out at thrift stores, or maybe you're at a pawn shop, this is where I found this, at a pawn shop. I wrote a book many years ago. I don't know if anybody has been following me for this long, but I wrote a book called Pawn Shop Profits. And back in 2014, 15, 16, I traveled the entire country, and I would hit up pawn shops and I would buy these items and I would flip them on Amazon. I did this with cameras, calculators, video games, tons of items. This was back in the glory days before there were, so many restrictions and the fees weren't as high. But anyways, I digress. This was a flip that I, again, picked up from a pawn shop. Only paid $25 for this item right here. It was used. I sold it for $81.99. I did wait a little bit because I wanted to really sell this for a premium. And if you take a look right now, actually the lowest price is, $82.99. If you go down here and you look in Keepa and you take a look at the history of this item, really this thing sells all day long for around like 60, 65, 70. So if you want to get $80, typically you're going to have to time your date of sale. If like school season is coming in, a lot of times you're going to see that the inventory gets sold out and then the price goes up, supply and demand. So if the demand is really high and it's eating away at the supply is going to go down and then the price is going to go up. And if you even look at this over the history of a year, you can see it gets a lot more popular around this time because everybody's going back to school. So if you time the market, you can certainly get a lot more money. I flip these items from eBay to Amazon all the time as well. So again, if you're using SellerAmp, which I highly recommend, you could go in, and if you sell this item, maybe from a thrift store or a pawn shop, after you sell it and you're like, wow, I'm so happy I sold that for 70 or 80, whatever you sell it for, click this little search eBay button and see if there's any available, or upload this to the Replun Catcher, and then Replun Catcher will search it all day long on eBay. But look at this, 138 sales a month right now, 28,000 rank, which is fantastic. And, this is a product that's in the office products category, Texas Instruments. And there's a bunch of different ones here. They have the 89s, the titaniums, the 84 plus the regular ones. This is the Plus C version. They even have some different models that are different colors that can sell for a lot of money. But this is an item that I love to flip. So again, if you find this item a couple months before school starts, or maybe right before school starts, or right in the middle of, when everyone's going back to school, you can get a fantastic premium on this item. So definitely a great item to flip. And again, you can take a look at SellerAmp's Keepa chart to see where the prices have been. You can see who's winning the buy box. You can see where the buy box is right now, so on and so forth. Now, SellerAmp is a tool that's made mostly I would say for like traditional online arbitrage people. So when you look at these numbers, more often than not, it's going to show you the new prices. But if you need to find the used prices, you can just go in right here on the right-hand side and you can check out all the offers on Amazon, wait for that to load. And if you want to see where all the prime offers are, you can click that and you can see $84.99 is the lowest one right here. Looks like there's only one person. So this is an item I've sold probably 50 times over the years. Great item to flip. Definitely an item to add to your replens list. And hopefully if you see it, start flipping it and make that money. All right, so let's get into the fifth item right here. This was an eBay to Amazon flip. This is a very, very popular item. This is a Slodge encoded smart Wi-Fi deadbolt. I actually got one of these in my house when I purchased it in 2021, and this thing's great. So instead of having to use a key to get into your house, essentially it connects to Wi-Fi and you can program a code into it. And there's a bunch of different models. There's a bunch of different variations. Surprisingly, I sell actually a lot of these Slodge items that only sell maybe 10, 15, 20 times a month. This one is very popular. And how do I know it's popular? Well, I could see right here that there's 715 sales across this variation. And it's not saying or sharing a BSR, which sometimes SellerAmp or tools won't tell you what the best seller rank is. And it's not their fault, but most of these tools are typically, getting the information from Keepa. And sometimes Keepa doesn't update their information quickly. Keepa, they're scraping data from Amazon. Sometimes it doesn't give you that data. But you can see right here, look at this, 14,000 reviews. And here's another tip. If an item that you come across doesn't have a BSR, and maybe it doesn't even share with you the monthly sales, look at the number of reviews. And again, if you're using the SellerAmp mobile app or you're just looking up on the Amazon Seller app, look at the reviews. Look at this, 4.4 star, 14,000 reviews. So you know that this thing is 100% selling. And of course, you could go into Keepa and you could take a look if they're sharing any information. And if you see these green drops, you can see for some reason, Keepa isn't tracking this information very well. But again, there's 14,000 reviews. I've sold this item multiple times. Matter of fact, I picked this one up for $149.99. And yes, it was another item that, I've uploaded. I don't know if you guys use Keepa Product Finder, but I've gone into Keepa Product Finder and I've storefront stalked all my competitors and I've found all the best Slodge items that sell, uploaded them to Replen Catcher. And again, Replen Catcher searches it all day long on eBay for any item that comes out that's at, my price, my ROI, my profit. But again, $149.99, flipped it for $296 on this item and made $87 profit. Now, you've got to be careful on this listing because I believe Amazon comes and goes on this listing. So you can see that, mid-June, they came on the listing and tanked the price. But here's another tip. When Amazon comes on the listing, a lot of times they will tank the price. But on certain listings, Amazon will come and they will go. And guess what? When Amazon goes, the price flows. The price typically goes up and you could take advantage of those opportunities. And that's what I did here. This is a great item. Again, look, Amazon was on this listing for quite a while. And then when they came off, the price jumps up to over $300. And that was actually just used. So if you take a look at new, let's see what the new buy box jumped up to. Yeah, at one point it was over $300. So definitely a great item. I love flipping these items as new. I don't typically sell these as used just because you'd have to make sure all the pieces in there and make sure it's not defective. But another great item to flip. Now here's a thrift store find. This is flip number 6. This was a brand new sealed DVD that I found over at Savers, $3.99. And again, if you take a look at SellerAmp, 54,000 rank, over 182 sales. I paid $3.99, which I'll tell you, I love thrift stores. I don't go to thrift stores as much anymore just because, I have a team of virtual assistants and we have the Replen Catcher and it's just so easy to have items come directly to me. But again, you're never going to make those ROIs and profits like you're going to make, going to a thrift store, going to a garage sale. $3.99 on this item to $94.99. This was a fantastic flip. This is something that doesn't happen all day long. And matter of fact, look at the price has gone up. The price is actually at $129.99. There's a merchant at $128. I mean, it looks like I might have priced this item wrong. But take a look. If you look at Keepa, you could see the price tanked down to about $94 and then it jumped up to $129. So this is one of those, wave listings where it goes in waves. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And you could see that. And again, you could take a look on SellerAmp to analyze who's winning it. You could see who's been winning it and at what buy box price. You could change up 90 days, 180 days. So it's definitely great to be able to sit here and analyze and take a look and, just see how often it's selling and run your numbers, put in what your cost is, put in what your selling price is. Look at this, 1,696% ROI. I wish this happened every day. I'd be rich, but unfortunately, most of the flips that I come across are going to make, 40, 50, 60, 70% ROI. But this was a great DVD. Why did I pick it up? Look at it. 54,000 rank. Anything under 100,000, I'm pretty convinced it's going to sell well. Over 180 sales a month. That's absolutely incredible. And then you could take a look at the competition. You could see that the sales is going up, the sales is going down, the sales is going up. So this thing is selling all the time. And if I pull everything off of Keepa, you can see these green drops for sales. Look at it. Boom, 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 boom. This thing is selling all day long. Definitely a great item to flip. And again, if you sell this item in the past from a thrift store, click this search eBay button on SellerAmp and see if it's available at, even if you could pick it up for $40 right now on eBay, you would still make $31 profit. And this thing is selling like hotcakes. So that was another great flip. And hopefully if you ever come across this DVD, which, might be hard to find, pick it up right here. Once Upon a Time in America. Boom, baby. And the last item that I want to share with you guys is another eBay to Amazon flip right here. Now, this is a circuit breaker. Again, if you're going to want to sell tools and certain electronics, there's a couple things you need to be aware of. Number one, typically you're going to have to get ungated. So if you're a brand new seller, start selling books, right? And as you sell more and more books, Amazon's going to open up that category and ungate you automatically on a lot of books. Then after that, I would go get ungated in DVDs. Then after that, I'd get ungated in like Disney and Lego and Star Wars. And then once you start growing and building and you're making your money, I would look into starting to get ungated in brands like Milwaukee or Square D or DeWalt. There's so many different brands to be on the lookout for within tools and electronics, so on and so forth. But this is a great flip. You can see Amazon's telling me right now, this item has sold 400 times plus in the last month. Now I paid up for this. I paid $48.99, sold it for $98.50. I'm not going to get rich off of this, but look at this. SellerAmp's telling me I made $24.79. That's a 50% ROI in my money. And typically I sell these things in less than 30 days. Now keep in mind, if you're selling electronics and tools, typically your refund rate's going to go from, maybe 3% with books and DVDs up to maybe 6 or 7%. So there are refunds. There's, people, they don't know how to use it, or contractors get it and they don't need it. They send it back to you. They open the box. So you do, typically I would say you do want to have higher ROIs on electronics and tools to make up for the scams and the customers opening the packages and destroying it. And then you have to sell it used on eBay, returns. Sometimes these items are defective. I mean, there's good and bad. I don't want to lie to you. There's pros and cons to selling tools, like getting ungated and high refunds and whatnot. But I sell a lot of tools, a lot of electronics, and I flip a lot of these types of items from eBay to Amazon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video and you want me to share more products that I'm flipping on Amazon and how I'm analyzing the deals and how I'm using SellerAmp and Keepa, let me know down below in the comments. Also, be sure to smash that like button. And I can't wait to make another video like this for you in the future. So with that being said, much love. And again, thank you again to SellerAmp. Check out SellerAmp. Get a free trial over there at SellerAmp. I'll put information down below. With that being said, keep on picking and making that money. And much love. Bye.